There's a huge problem with taking the green car on the Shinkansen, because if you ever park your backside in one of these seats, it might just ruin every single train journey you take in the future. And no, I'm really not joking about that. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you're completely wrong if you think the only thing you get in the green car is a bigger, more expensive seat. Then we'll look at why I think the price of the green car seats is honestly quite reasonable considering what you get. And last, you're going to see why using the green car can actually save you time before and after you take the Shinkansen. But you might be thinking, hey Andrew, 99% of people are absolutely fine sitting in the ordinary cars. So why bring this up? Well, imagine you've been saving up for 2 years and you've booked your flight and you've found the best hotels and you've looked up a bunch of amazing places that you're going to visit. But when you get off the plane and you take your first Shinkansen, you find that the unreserved cars are standing room only. And the next day, when you actually have reserved seats, that isn't much better because you have to sit in an aisle seat and you don't get to look out the window for that view of Mount Fuji. And you're probably thinking I'm exaggerating, but if you're traveling in peak season, like when the cherry blossoms are in bloom, or during Golden Week, Obon or New Year, this can happen to you. And that's why the green car is absolutely essential. I mean, it's a kind of get out of jail free card when Japan is busy, except of course it's not free. But even if you're not travelling at these times, taking the green car is one of the easiest ways to add an enormous amount of luxury to your trip. Instead of rows having 5 seats like in the reserved and non-reserved cars, the green cars only have 4. So you get a wider seat and one humongous armrest. You also get a footrest, which is adjustable, and not only does the back of the seat recline, the base also moves forward, which is why you have 2 buttons. There's one of the standard kinds of pull down table, but also hiding in the armrests is this additional table so you don't have to put your coffee on the windowsill. As well as this, you get a reading light just to the side of your head, a seat heating function with the buttons controlling these on the opposite side to the seat controls. You've also got handy access to an outlet at the front of the enormous armrest, which makes charging your phone quite a bit easier, especially compared to the older Shinkansen where the outlet is under the window close to the floor. In case you're not comfortable enough with the massive seat, staff will come round at some point and give you a wet towel. And if you're not already toasty from the seat warmer, head to the end of the car where you'll find these rental blankets just above the oversized baggage area on the shelf. But the green car has a number of hidden characteristics that make it a much more pleasant place to be. These cars are fitted with noise reducing rubber, which cuts down on external sound, and the wall-to-wall carpeting means you won't hear anything from passengers walking by in heels or hard shoes. Go sit in the other cars for a few minutes and you'll soon notice the difference in noise. And if you look closely on the outside of the train, the green cars also don't have pantographs up top, which cuts down on vibrations while the train is in motion. The last thing the green car has over ordinary seats is the food service, whereby you order something on your phone and staff bring it directly to you. Gone are the days of the trolley coming around, but at least in the green car you can still get snacks when you're on board. So for this kind of premium experience, how much of a premium would you be willing to pay? And why on earth would I say that it should be even more expensive? Well, let's take a look at the prices. If you're traveling between Tokyo and Shin Osaka, a bit less than 14,000 yen gets you a seat in the cheapest non-reserved cars. But if you want to ride in a green seat, you need to fork out 19,390 yen, almost 40% more. Similarly, with the nationwide JR passes, green car versions are also around 40% more expensive than standard. That extra 40% doesn't just get you the luxury features of the green car though, it also gives you the almost certainty of having a free seat next to you, which is increasingly uncommon in even the reserved cars these days on the route between Osaka and Tokyo, and that's because the route is just so popular. And even if you do find yourself sitting next to an empty seat elsewhere, you do always need a bit of luck to avoid being in a car with that group of noisy grandmas off on a guided tour, or kids who haven't learned what an inside voice is yet, or businessmen who want to turn their seats to face each other and have a bit of a drinking party. You won't find these kinds of passengers in the green car, so if you want to guarantee some peace and quiet as you travel around, it's the place to be. And for these two almost certainties, I think a 40% premium is actually a very small price to pay. But I hear you saying, Andrew, riding in the green car won't get you to your destination any faster, and you always need to make seat reservations. So won't that cost me time over using just non-reserved seats? Well, you have a point there. You do always need to make a seat reservation, but since you can take care of that at ticket machines with JR passes now, it's not much of a hassle. And if you book all your seats in one go or online in advance, so much the better. But in any case, riding in the green car saves you plenty of time in other ways. How so? Well, if you look at how Shinkansen are formed, you'll notice that non-reserved cars are always at the far end of the train, meaning if you're a cheapskate, you need to take a hike down to the end of the platform at the start of your journey and then back again when you arrive. But people in the green car are spared this chore because the elevators are always positioned right next to the doors when you get on and off. So if you're in a hurry, you have more chance of making the train if you're riding in green. And you're also assured a quick getaway when you arrive, which can be handy if you've got connections to make. So considering everything I said, why on earth would I tell you to avoid using the green car at all costs? Well, although I've used the green car on limited express trains elsewhere in Japan, when I made this video, it was actually my first time trying it on the Tokaido Shinkansen. And since then, I've had to travel around quite a bit, always in reserved or non-reserved, which have exactly the same seats, just with varying levels of crowding and noise. See, there's actually nothing wrong with travelling standard. Compared to many trains in the world, it's way above first class. The problem is, after you've tried the green car, at the first sign of trouble, you're going to be begging yourself to upgrade to green. So if, and only if, you can be sure that this is going to be your last trip to Japan, go ahead and ride in the green car everywhere.